You know, it's no secret that I love open baffle speakers. So when I had a chance to review this new Clayton Shaw open baffle, the Caladan, I said, yes, I am totally in. And one of the things that appealed to me about it, but besides the fact that it's designed by Clayton Shaw and he knows his way around open baffle speakers. He's been doing this a very long time. But one of the big draws for this speaker is its price. It is the least expensive open baffle speaker I have reviewed on this channel. It's $3,000 a pair. And I got to say, right up front, the build quality is exceptional. The baffle itself is a 1.5-inch thick hardwood baffle. You can get it in oak, maple, cherry, or walnut. Now, for some of those finishes, there's an upcharge from the price, $3,000 a pair. So when I'm saying solid hardwood, it's not MDF with a veneer on top. No, it's solid hardwood. So as you can plainly see, it has two, count them two, 12-inch woofers in that kind of beveled recess in that panel, which is really cool. You know, it gives it sort of a sculptural look. And those woofers cross over to the tweeter, which is a 1.25-inch tweeter, rather low. The crossover from woofer to tweeter, second order, is at 1K. So that tweeter is going deeper into the mid-range than most tweeters do. Oh, but make note, the tweeter is forward firing only. It is not operating as a dipole tweeter. And the crossover components themselves, which are there for all to see, as they are on most open baffle speakers, are very high quality parts, including that Jupiter capacitor, as I guess a bypass cap. That's the good stuff. So there's no skimping on parts quality. The binding posts are first rate. And just, it feels really solid. Oh, my review pair were fitted with these optional at extra cost Isoacoustics Gala feet. They add $300 to the price of the speaker. I highly recommend them. I'm not going to review the feet, but I'll just say it's well worth spending the extra money if you're going to put the speaker on a hardwood floor as opposed to a carpeted floor. And what else can I tell you? Well, the warranty runs to 5 years. This speaker is designed and made in the United States. It is sold with a 45-day money-back guarantee. And for the time being, the speaker is only being sold in the United States. International sales will definitely come probably before the end of this year. So while you're looking at the specs, I will mention that I used a few different amplifiers over the course of this review. The PassLabs XA25, the linear tube audio ultra linear, which is 20 watt per channel tube amplifier. I also briefly, ever so briefly, I just couldn't resist. I did try using the Deckware Zen Triode, which is 2.3 watts per channel, just to see how that would fare. And you know what? At late night levels and stuff, it was actually very, very enjoyable. So if you have a tiny room and you don't listen aloud, you could get away with just a handful of watts. And a bit up from 2.3 watts, the new 10 watt per channel first watt SIT4, and that speaker, that amplifier is in for review. For comparison speakers, I used the new Magnepan 0.7X. It's the upgrade of the original 0.7. That's in for review. That will come along shortly. And also, of course, my reference speakers, the Pure Audio Project Duet 15s. And the Pure Audio Project Trio 10 Heil AMT. As for setup details, yes, these speakers are 3 feet away from the wall behind them, in this case the records and books behind them. The speakers are 9 feet apart center to center and about 9 feet away from me, and they are towed in to aim directly at me. But like I said, this is a high sensitivity speaker, so you don't really need to go nuts with power. Their late night performance, when played very quietly with any of the amplifiers, it was one of those speakers that I did want to play it a bit louder. It wasn't the best at super quiet listening level. But yeah, so when I played it medium-ish loud, it sounded good. And when I played it louder and louder, it just sprung to life. It is a very lively, very dynamic speaker. It just jumps. It has that jump factor thing down. As for soundstage, this one, the Caladan, is above average in that regard. Depth, spaciousness, focus, all of those are really, really well done. I'd say even a bit better than the Pure Audio Project Duet 15. Now this speaker, I'll just come right out and say it, is more immediate, brighter, more forward than the Pure Audio Project Duet 15. That speaker, the Duet, is more laid back. It's more over there, and with this one, it's closer. It feels closer to you, more immediate, more present. And that's exciting. I was playing this recording by this group. This, I guess, sort of, I wouldn't want to use the word chamber because that implies something that they're not. But this, let's call it a folk group. It's called Dark, Dark, Dark. And this particular recording, Dark, 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 Bright, 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 is so much fun. And the lead singer, Nona Marie Invi, she's got the voice. She's mysterious and sultry and sexy and just incredible. And the music just weaves a spell. The recording quality, I have it on LP, is exceptionally good. It's very present. You feel like you are in the room with the musicians and these incredible vocalists. You know, in a way, it kind of reminds, and they're an American band, and they sound almost like an American incredible string band. It has that kind of hippie sound to it, maybe that's a way of putting it. But anyway, so yeah, if you dig acoustic music, definitely check out this group and this specific album. Oh, and by the way, the first Watt SIT4, designed by Nelson Pass, who also designed the Pass Labs XA25. It's interesting to compare their sounds over these speakers because this one, the SIT4, has more depth, more solidity, more. It just fleshes things out more. It's still a very clear sounding amplifier, in some ways even clearer than the XA25, but it has more body to it, more soul to it. It just feels like a richer mix. Maybe that's what I'm trying to get out here. But anyway, much more about the SIT4 when I give it its own review coming up soon. Oh, and I had some fun listening to Get Happy, Elvis Costello's fourth album, I'm pretty sure. It's got 20 songs on one LP, so they're really short. But this is peak Elvis Costello in my book. He's just on fire, and the music has such jump and excitement in the music itself. The record itself is compressed because I had to squeeze all of that music into an LP, but it all works. In this sense, the compression just adds to the music's, let's say, its urgency, that Elvis is just trying to get it all out, to get out 20 songs on an album. And you know what? The overall quality of the songs is pretty good. It's pretty good Elvis. But anyway, this speaker just set it free. It just opened up and let that music dance in my room. Absolutely. And I was having a good time. And that is rhythm and pace, that kind of feel the energy of the music moving. This speaker does that very, very well. Oh, as for the comparison between the Caladan and the Pure Audio Project Trio 10 Heil AMT, well, yeah, that air motion transformer, it's not just a tweeter, it goes way down into the mid-range, and the overall transparency of the Trio 10 outpaced the Caladan. And by the way, the Trio 10's twin 10-inch woofers just kicked harder than the Caladan's 12s. But, I mean, it's double the price. The Trio 10 is double the price of the Caladan. And then when it comes to Bob Marley's Kaya, it's probably my favorite one. But the quality of the bass, the precision of the bass that this speaker is capable of, what I mean is by bass definition, the leading edge of the bass is exceptionally good. You can really hear every note. And the expressiveness of Bob Marley's vocals is so well played over the Caladan. You just feel like he's right there on the mic. You feel his presence. Absolutely. Staying with Marley, I switched over to the Pure Audio Project Duet 15s, which have, yes, 15-inch woofers, just to see how the bass fared between these two speakers. And you know what? Yes, the Duet 15's low end is just more, let's say, generous. It's bigger sounding. It's weightier sounding. And the Caladan was lighter on its feet. So maybe it was faster. It danced more. But there was a satisfaction to the heaviness, in the good sense, of the Pure Audio Project that I veered in that direction. I did prefer the Pure Audio project with this album. But damn, I got to say the Caladan, we're not far behind because of the way you could just feel the pacing of the music. Yeah, really good stuff. The next album I played was this one, this Neil Young record. It's a Mobile Fidelity SoundLab LP pressing, and it's his record Old Ways. Now this is his country record. It's probably his most country album. It has strings, it has lush arrangements, it's super produced record, and yet Neil sounds like, yeah, I want to do this kind of music. I'm trying to remember the period of this record, probably the late 70s or early 80s. Anyway, it's a great sounding record for vocals, for the strings, and this speaker, the Caladan, was just letting it breathe, letting it out there in the room. So I was doing some of this work with the Linear Tube Audio Ultra Linear, which is a 20 watt per channel tube amplifier. And I did not feel that the amplifier was holding anything back. But that Neil Young record, if you're into Neil Young and somehow overlook this and you have a taste for country music, definitely check out Old Ways. For my next bit of fun, I pulled out the Magnepan 0.7X. This is a planar magnetic speaker with a ribbon tweeter. It's a large speaker, it's about 5 feet tall, but it is a low sensitivity design. The sensitivity spec, I think, is 86 dB, though it sounds even lower than that to me. And the Caladan is a pretty high sensitivity speaker, it's 93. And that's the main thing you hear when you do this comparison, or what I heard when I did the comparison. That is that the Caladan is livelier. It just sounds more like live music. It has more jump to it. And moving to the 0.7X, the sound scaled back. It was darker, less bright, more refined sounding. And the magic, I'll tell you that the first thing that really strikes me about listening to the 0.7X is it sounds like it's a one large full range speaker. You're no sense of crossover in this speaker. It just blends. It just sounds like one big speaker, and that's beautiful. So it has this, I would say, better tonality. Yes, better tonality than the Caladan, but it sacrifices dynamics and jump factor, at least so far. I mean, I'm just starting with the 0.7X, so more will be revealed down the road to me and eventually to you. But that's where it stands vis-a-vis the 0.7X, which is, by the way, about $4,000 a pair. So to continue, yes, the Caladan can sound bright, especially if you pair it with bright-sounding components or listen to music that is already on the bright side. The Caladan will let you hear that even more so. Leon Russell's Will-O-the-Wisp. Man, his vocals on this record sound good. Sound quality of his vocals are great, but his performance as a singer, his drawl, his comfort, his ease in which he lays out these lyrics is just goosebump territory. He's like Frank Sinatra of rock music, because he just has this delivering, the way he delivers music. And he is the band leader. He plays piano. He was an all-around amazing musician. But this record has some incredible cuts, and it is, in terms of his performance as an artist, I think this is peak Leon Russell. So, and how it all played out over the Caladan was that I just was even more connected with Leon's talent. His phrasing, his delivery was so right there, so present, so alive sounding. Truly exciting. This is why I do love my job. Okay, I think I prepared myself to do. So Steve, what do you really think of the Clayton Shaw Acoustic Lab Caladan Open Baffle speaker? I think it's a pretty remarkable design. For all the reasons I just laid out, but then circling back to, hey, it's the least expensive open baffle speaker I have ever reviewed here. And I was in awe of its capabilities in terms of its dynamic life, its ease, its openness, its non-boxy sound for a very reasonable price for a made-in-the-US product. As I said earlier, it's $3,000 in the US. The speaker will be available internationally, hopefully by the end of this year. Clayton is working on that as I speak. And he's committed to keeping the price down as much as possible in other markets. So that's it. I think it's remarkable. It truly is. And by the way, Clayton Shaw is a super nice guy. And with that, I can say, yes, let's get right to, you know it, you love it, the Audiophiliac viewer system of the day. Hey, Matt sent in these pictures. He lives in southern Arizona. It's his system, but some of it he inherited from his father, like the JBL L300 speakers. They look gorgeous, and they have upgraded terminals and custom-built by Matt stands to raise them up for better listening height. The turntable is a Thorins TD165 with a Denon DL110 cartridge. Phono preamp is an i5 Zen. The integrated tube amp is by a company I never heard of, Brunico, and it's the Terra 6L6PP. And streamer is a WIM Pro Plus. The CD player is a Denon CDR W1500. Interconnects by AudioQuest, and the speaker wire is Mica brand. Thank you, Matt. We're back. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the Audiophiliac. This is what I'm doing on the channel. A lot of reviews of interesting products. Some of them are really expensive. Some of them are not so crazy expensive. Some of them I have coming up. I got one right over there. I can't tell you what that one is just yet. But that is about $2,000. That's a made in the US integrated amplifier. They're just so sweet. Solid state design. Anyway, good stuff coming down the pike. I don't think I've ever had more reviews lined up at any one time than I have in, 20 years or something. So anyway, a feast is coming your way here on the channel. And if you like that sort of stuff, plus my interviews with Herb Reichert, and we're going to do one pretty soon, and other interviews, and of course, Audiophiliac viewer systems of the day, please consider joining the Patreon. Super easy to do. Go to that website. The address is on the screen right now. You can join for a couple of bucks a month, up to $50 or even $100 a month. And in those top two levels, you and I will have a conversation every month at the beginning of the month. So that's it. My work here is at last complete. Thank you again for watching. I truly hope to see you back here again with another exciting review very, very soon. Bye-bye.